This fourth round really quickly, all right? Let's go through this fourth round. All right, so here are the first 3 rounds. And the next pick, obviously, I think this is where you can start to consider quarterbacks. Some of the running backs are like the younger running backs. So you got like the Amarian Hamptons of the world who are going to go here. I'm not taking Hampton this early, just for the record. But I think we got to give JSN some love. Had an incredible season last year. And I'm concerned about Sam Darnold going over there. Obviously, Clint Kubiak is a godsend to have over there. I'm kind of concerned about JSN with Cooper Kupp there now. But I think he did enough to deserve being at like this wide receiver 20 spot. I just don't think he's a top 12 receiver, which he's going to go as right now. So he will have Darnold. I think he'll be good. I do have some concerns about him as far as like hitting his ceiling. I think he'll be a safe player here in wide receiver 2 land. Now, as far as his next pick, it's really between like Chase Brown. Do you believe in Chase Brown? That's really the question, because all these receivers are kind of the same here, right? Like heavy question marks, have upside. Like DJ Moore has Romo Dunze there. Zay Flowers, they just signed DeAndre Hopkins. Rashee Rice coming off of maybe a suspension, right? Cortland Sutton, they drafted, Pat Bryant. So is he going to play a role there? Chris Olave doesn't have a quarterback. Jalen Waddle, Devontae Smith are the wide receiver 2s. Like there's so many question marks here. I am going to go Trey McBride here. And I know we just talked about George Kittle. I'm going to go Trey McBride here. I think this is the good time to get a tight end. And also a very good time to get a quarterback. I have Lamar Jackson as my QB1. And Lamar Jackson will be my QB1 this year. Right behind him, Josh Allen is my QB2. I think those two are the 2 quarterbacks that I would take in the 4th round if I was drafting with a bunch of me's. Lamar and Josh Allen are probably going to go in the 3rd round of your drafts. But this is about where I see this value now. The outlier at tight end has been Brock Bowers, been Trey McBride. George Kittle's right around there. But I think those guys are outliers as opposed to like the quarterback position where you still have Jaden Daniels, Jalen Hurts, Pat Mahomes, Joe Burrow. I kind of think Justin Fields will enter that tier. Like there's a lot of quarterbacks you can get, whereas tight end falls off very quickly and you're taking a risk. You have to take a chance on Jonnu Smith, David Njoku, Evan Ingram, Sam Laporta. And then who knows what's going on with Kelsey and Mark Andrews. And Lord knows you don't want to draft Kyle Pitts, right? So I think this is where, after the first 2 tight ends have gone, I think that's when I would start to look at quarterback. For me, Lamar and Josh Allen would probably be there. I don't think they're going to be there in your guys' drafts. And then next up, we're going to get to some non-sexy names. Like obviously Chase Brown deserves to go. Had an amazing season last year for the Cincinnati Bengals. A very strong finish to the year once he got, the starting role. Played really well. And I feel like, I don't really know if he'll have the exact same type of season he did last year. But the good thing is you get to see it all over again. Like you get a chance to get it at a very good price if you're taking him here in the 4th round. You have to bank on it if you're taking him in the early 3rd, which is where he's going right now in most drafts. And then as far as receivers, I think this is an appropriate time to take DJ Moore. DJ Moore's been really consistent over the years. Obviously, last year, he didn't have the year he wanted, finishes the wide receiver. I cannot tell which number is right. It feels like wide receiver 22 is right. Romo Dunze and Luther Burden has now been added as well this offseason. Ben Johnson is now the offensive coordinator, so hopefully there's more passing here. This team can finally have a 4,000-yard passer. But DJ Moore has been the rock, obviously in his prime, should have a good season. A good safe player, I would say there's a lot more risk there than there is upside with DJ Moore in this spot. Next quarterback I'm going to take, Jalen Hurts. I have him over Jaden Daniels. I really like Jaden Daniels. I do. But I feel like there might be some slight regression with Jaden Daniels next year. It hurts me to say that because we know I was big on Jaden Daniels last year. But I kind of think he might go a little too early this year. I hope I'm wrong. And I hope Jaden Daniels is up here with Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen. I hope he proves me the hell wrong. I'm going to go Jalen Hurts here. I'm going Jalen Hurts, and that's where I'm going to stop. I don't want to go too much more into it. I'm going to go Hurts over Jaden Daniels. I'll talk more about Jaden Daniels as the season goes on. Again, it comes down to now the running backs that are left, right? These are the names that we don't like. The Chuba Hubbards, James Connors of the world. I'm not taking any receivers right now. I would be taking one of the running backs, either Chuba Hubbard, James Conner, David Montgomery, or a tight end. This is where I start to like, okay, if a tight end is here, I'm not really sold on these names as my elite running backs. I would be more comfortable with the Aaron Jones a little bit later, Tony Pollard later, right? And those guys have big question marks. So I think here is where I would go like a George Kittle or TJ Hawkinson. You have to decide for yourself, what do you want? Do you believe in TJ Hawkinson a year removed from the ACL, or do you think George Kittle can have a bigger role? And I think even just talking through it just recently, George Kittle deserves to be in this spot right now. George Kittle is going to have a strong year. And it's not like he's old or washed or anything. He's still in his prime. And he finishes the number 3 tight end last year. So he's had consistently been a top 3 to 5 option, and that's missing games over the years. Just signed a heavy extension. Deebo Samuel's gone. Brandon Ayuk's out to start the year. George Kittle. I'm probably going to be moving George Kittle at my rankings. Shout out to JSC, bro. Going to be moving George Kittle at my rankings probably at some point. Jaden Daniels comes up right here as well. I think Jaden Daniels is good here. I would want Kittle, though, over Jaden Daniels. I don't know. I don't want to say too much about Jaden Daniels because I think he's a great player, but I kind of have some internally, like the hunch, the just that intuition has something telling me, I don't know, like I might want to stay away from Jaden Daniels this year. Not fully, just not like I think he's going to be Lamar Jackson this year. The player that has been very hard for me to rank, and I think this is about the range I would start to look at him, is Rashee Rice. He started off on a tear last year. But the Chiefs re-signed Hollywood Brown. You also got Kelsey returning. And we also don't know, I doubt there's going to be any kind of suspension or anything with Rashee Rice. We also don't know what that looks like for Rashee Rice. So I do have some concerns about him. How does his knee look? How is he returning from his injury? Like, I think he should be in the clear, but there are some concerns that I have with Rashee Rice, even after the start that he had last year. So I'm going to stay away from Rashee Rice right here. And I was very impressed with what Courtland Sutton did last year. Now, I know there's some concerns about what they've added, Evan Ingram coming into the fold. He finishes a wide receiver 10 last year. This seems way more accurate to me. I think he finishes a wide receiver 15. This is actually seeming way more accurate to me. I don't know why. Sleeper, get on your job. Because he's inconsistent. And I'm confused now. Now I'm confused. But Courtland Sutton had a very strong year, and I can see him repeating this year with Bo Nix, especially if you believe in Bo Nix. This is the time I would go ahead and get a Courtland Sutton. Some other names here in consideration, obviously like Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddle, both of those guys. I really like Devontae Smith here, and that might be my pick here. Rashee Rice is the other name in consideration. I think I'm staying away from Sam Laporta here. TJ Hawkinson is the other name I'm considering. And I think when it comes to quarterback, I'm probably not taking a quarterback here in the 4th round outside of the ones that I've drafted so far. Those would be the 4. Other than that, I'm looking for positional players. Do I want to take a 4th round pick on TJ Hawkinson is my big question. Evan Ingram is also a consideration. I don't know why he's down here, but Evan Ingram should be like up here. I think Evan Ingram should be ahead of Sam Laporta, for the record. But do I want to take TJ Hawkinson in the 4th round? And I think it really depends on what I've built here. I think I'm going to pass on TJ Hawkinson for now. So it comes down to Rashee Rice, Jalen Waddle, Devontae Smith, maybe even a Chris Godwin. I think I'm going to go Rashee Rice here. I don't love it, but I'm going to go with Rashee Rice because if he's on and he's healthy, if he's available, this is an excellent pick. This is a pick that wins you a league. And the last one comes down to Waddle and Devontae Smith. And I think just with what Devontae Smith's already been able to prove throughout his career, I'm going to go with Devontae Smith here instead. So that's the 4th round. How are y'all feeling about this? And that's all I'm going for today. How do y'all feel about this? You guys agree with it? Disagree? Let me know in the comments how y'all feel about that.